Well,
But it's hard.
it's a little bit of a struggle. And I've never really understood why, but there's 3 rules and that's it. Remember when we did properties of exponents and there were 7 rules? And each rule on its own looked really easy, but then when we put it together and we simplified the expressions, it was a little difficult. It's the same kind of thing here, all right? So we're going to talk about these 3 properties of logs. The first one is what we call the product property, or we'll call it the product property. Now, because logs are what? Exponents. Keep that in mind. Logs are exponents, and it will help you with these properties. If I have a log of any base, and up here I multiply 2 things together, let's say x times y. The product property says that I can split those up with addition. So I can say that this is the same thing as log base b of x plus log base b of y. Okay? Think whenever you were doing the exponents, if you multiplied 2 things with the same base, you added the exponents. It's the same concept here. If we go from left to right, we call that expanding the expression. And if we start with what's on the right and move to the left, we call that condensing. All right, let me show you an example of property number 1. You need me to go back? Remember, it doesn't matter the base, so I'm not even going to put a base on this, and what do you think that means for the base?
It's going to be 10.
It's 10. Okay, so you can put it or not, it doesn't really matter. What if I expand that? What does it look like?
Log base 2 plus log base.
Log of 2 plus,
Log.
that's right, it's expanded. Easy?
Let's condense it.
Then we'd be back to where we started.
Okay. This would be
Oh, I forgot to record. How about this one? Forgot to hit. Condense this one. Natural log. That's exactly right. Natural log 6y. A little bit harder. It doesn't really get hard until you start combining the properties. And then it really does get hard. All right. Let's look at property number 2. You need me to go back? Quotient property.
I'm going to go back though.
Product means multiply. Quotient means to divide. For real? Who said go back?
I didn't say that.
Go back for real?
Yes.
All right, quotient property. Any base again. If I divide. When you have the same base and you're dividing and you're talking about exponents, what do you do with the exponents? You subtract them. That's exactly right. So I'm going to subtract here. Log base b of x minus log base b of y. From left to right is expanding. And from right to left is condensing. Here's an example. Y'all got jokes today, huh?
Wait, go back.
Thank you. Expand that. Log base 2. As you expand, here's a word of caution. Make sure you write log each time. Okay, it's not log base 2 of 5 minus x. You have to write the log every time when you separate them. Condensing is a little bit harder because with subtraction, you really have to watch. Need to go left to right as you condense these, only 2 at a time, because otherwise it's going to confuse you a little bit, okay? Go ahead. So these two would be natural log
Why did it?
3 over y. Why what?
Why did it?
It's logarithmic natural. I don't know. Now, here's where you have to think about it. I'm going to come over to the side to show you why this is. If I have 3 divided by y, and I want to divide that by 5, I never divide a fraction by something. What do I do instead? Multiply by the reciprocal. So 3 divided by y divided by 5 is the same thing as 3 divided by y times 1/5, which becomes 3 over 5y. Does that make sense? Okay. So this condenses down to natural log of 3 over 5y. Even though it looks like it's being multiplied to that y, and there's a subtraction, that's y. All right, last one. Property number 3. Y'all are awful chatty today, Jerome. The product property. I know you talking about something. I hear you. That's why I said you're chatty today. All right, product. Oh, look, you made me write the wrong property.
What?
Now, y'all know you wrote that for number 1.
That's what she just said. I know you were right.
Power property. Sorry.
You really chatty today.
That's what you were chatting about? Yeah. 3. Just 3. When you raise a power to a power with exponents, what do?
You have that as an
Multiply. Right? X to the second to the third would be x to the sixth. You multiply them. So here, I take the exponent, I put it around front, and I multiply it to the whole thing. Again, this is expand, and condense goes the other way. Just so you have it written with every property. Cool. And then we'll put all 3 properties together.
Oh my goodness.
Be very excited. Expand it. What does it become?
4 times log 5.
4 times log base 5 of 8. Easy, right?
Yeah.
Let's combine them and see what happens. We're going to do several examples.
So you think it's going to get hard today in this lesson, or?
There's, other than the 3 properties, there's one other little thing I'm going to show you, and that's it. All right, expand it. Okay, so look, you got to decide which the powers go into, though, because there's not really an order you have to do it in. But this,
more than one property in one?
sure, this is different than this. How is it different?
Because
Because they have to go to all of them.
This one, you're exactly right. This one goes to all of them. This one's only going to the 4. Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep. That's right. When we do it this way, very good, Chandler, very good. When we do it this way, look, this is showing us that the 4 is only going with the y piece. It's not going with the other. Now, we did 2 steps, 2 properties in one here. We split it. This would really be log to the 4th first, and then we bring that 4 around front for that step. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, just wait. It's going to get better.
Last year, I swear it shouldn't have been.
Last year, what? It's just because you've seen it before now. It's fine. All right. Smarty britches.
What? Huh?
Smarty britches.
Yo!
Y'all know I don't say bad words.
I don't know what you do.
Bad word.
Who says rich?
Britches? We say that all the time.
What the fuck?
Okay.
It's okay.
Thank you, Jackson. Now, yes. Don't try to use Dodge words.
Don't use the Lord's name in vain.
Okay. Every time I hit record, y'all start trying to use these stupid Dodge words to make everybody think that y'all saying words that you're not. Now look, what can I do?
Expand it.
How? Tell me what a square root is. The same thing as a what? It starts with a half what? Exponent. Same thing as half exponent. I'm going to change that because I can really work with exponents. Now what can I do? Here's what I'm going to split. If you ever see a fraction, go ahead and split it with your subtraction. It'll make it easier if you do that first. All right, so I got x squared plus 5, 1/2, minus natural log of x. Everybody in agreement there? Okay. What now? What do you see that I can do? Can you split this up though? There's not one I can split it, but the half can come around to the front. So 1/2 natural log x squared plus 5. You see anything else I can do? As I'm expanding, I'm looking for multiplication, division, and exponents. Do I have any of that I can do? I have addition, so that doesn't work. So it's completely expanded. This exponent is happening inside this parentheses, so that doesn't count. I can't do anything with that. So it's done. It's expanded. Does that make sense? Let's do a condensed one. What should I do first? That's always my first step. I always handle exponents on individual pieces first. It's easier for me that way. If you didn't, that's okay. What can I do now? Divide it. Now this one's a little different because technically it's condensed, but I can simplify some things here. Because I'm multiplying in this parentheses and I'm not adding or subtracting, I can distribute that exponent, right? So this becomes x to the 5th over x squared y squared. I've got same base, top and bottom. What do? Subtract. Now we're back in those properties of exponents. So I have natural log of, what's in the numerator? Over.
Word.
Pretty easy.
Pretty easy. Everybody think so?
Yep.
Word.
Let me show you change of base and I'm done. So I told you yesterday you couldn't use your calculator to find logarithms unless it was a base 10 or what? A base of e, which is natural log. ln, right. So I'm going to show you a little formula. It's called change of base that lets you evaluate any base on your calculator. Here's how it works. If you have a log base b of a, you can rewrite that with any base you want. So I'm going to do a common log here, this way. It doesn't matter what base you use. You could use base 4. If you, I mean, it just doesn't matter. But this is convenient because your calculator does base 10. Come on. So I can calculate any log using that formula. So I'll show you real quick on your calculator and I'll be done, I promise. All right, use your calculator to find this. 5 raised to what power gives you 2? So when you put it in your calculator, you're going to have to do log of, which one comes first? Log of 2 divided by log of 5. Make sure you all can do that because there's a section on your homework that is nothing but putting it in your calculator using this formula. Log of the number that's written big divided by log of the base number. Everybody okay on that? Oh no, I did it backwards. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't.
Wrong.
No, I did it right. And it should be a decimal because if you raised 5 to a power bigger than 1, 5 squared is 25, right? I'd need a fraction to get smaller. Y'all okay on that? Y'all are looking at me. You sure? What?
Yeah, this is a great effect.
Yeah.
Like said that was Tuesday. Yes, she said that.
Let me record this. Because 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 4, but I wanted you to see that whenever you put it on your calculator, so log 81 divided by log 3 does give you 4. All right. That's all I got to go on.